Dear Dennis, every day I wonder why I am the way that I am, and it's because of you. I know you're swallowed by your thoughts right now, worrying, thinking, breathing, stressing, sometimes praying, and sleeping. Things have turned for the worst, and everything seems so uncertain. You're so aware of the things that you lack, the many things that you need to do, and let's not forget the unrealistic pressures you're putting on yourself. I know you're tired of having to fight these thoughts and be hopeful. Tired of starting again each day and working towards a goal that keeps on moving. Tired of struggling on this battlefield which you don't even know how to win. Tired of facing those rejections and disappointments. And I know you're tired of having a heart which always needs mending. The past few weeks have been hard on you, but please don't beat yourself up about it. I know those voices are pressing you, echoing pain that won't stop chasing you, and you've become comfortable with their presence. But they do not have as much power as you think they do. You've survived so many storms, and if you're keeping it 2000, this isn't the worst of them all. I don't know what the outcome of the season will be, but I just want to tell you that this anxiety won't win. Every single day, you prove that you are stronger than your anxiety and your doubts. And every day, you give me another reason to be proud of you. You have the biggest heart, endless potential, and if we're being honest, you got an incredible beard and dimple connection. Please don't quit fighting, Dennis. Don't give up. Don't let your anxiety define you, because one day you will look back and all of those struggles and difficult times will simply be what used to be. You will see yourself through my eyes and you'll be so proud. I promise you that you will only come out better than you ever were before. You always do. Love, Dennis. Yo, what's up, good people? My name is Dennis Ngango and welcome back to Defining. Today I wanted to make a quick video just talking a bit about my anxiety, especially during this lockdown quarantine that we're in. I know a lot of people have been battling, and I wanted to also just share a word of encouragement, seeing that it's also, Mental Health Awareness Month. So I thought, let me put, two and two together and really just make a video to anyone who's going through a tough time right now, and also just to share a couple of tips that are helping me make sense of where we're at and just trying to make sense of life right now. If you're keen to watch this video, please do continue watching, and if you enjoyed it at any moment, please do feel free to make sure to like, comment and subscribe. First and foremost, welcome to my humble abode for real this time. I actually decided to spend the lockdown period at home with my parents and my sister. It was really important to me because my dad is actually an essential service worker, aka a doctor. So I decided to really just come back here and make sure to be able to be here to support my dad while he's working, and also to support the rest of the family. For the most part, my mental health has been in a good space because I have a lot of these conversations on Defining, and my family watch the channel, so we've been learning and growing together. But there have been moments where I've felt quite crippled and quite confused. And the main root of that is definitely the level of uncertainty. I'm not sure if it's just me, but the levels of uncertainty are just so high. Physically, emotionally, financially, mentally, girlfriend naturally. Everything just seems like, there's uncertainty in every area of my life. And that's what really triggers my anxiety, when I feel like I just don't know how to maneuver with anything. Just to give you guys a bit more clarity with regards to where I'm at. Prior to the pandemic, I was actually in a transition period in life. And often when you're in a transition period, when your one foot is here and your other foot is somewhere there, you often feel like, things are a bit shaky, but I'm gonna try and keep faith, and I'm gonna try and, just keep moving forward in every way that I can. And that's exactly where I was with my work life. I've been doing this engineering thing for quite some time, and I was in the transition of moving between my engineering work and doing digital content creation somewhat full time. And I was busy making big decisions prior to this pandemic. So the moment it happened, everything just went on hold, and I haven't been able to really make sense of those steps that I was making in this period. Obviously we're in our 20s, and our 20s are the time to just make, the great foundation. And I'm just like, I'm overthinking this thing because I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm moving. I don't know how to make sense of my emotions. And that's really what has been sparking my anxiety the most, if we're keeping it 2000. Luckily, with my mental health journey, the one thing I've realized or learned is that your feelings seldomly tell you the truth, number one. And number two, feelings aren't facts. And the more I just meditated on that, and the more I really took action with the next three things that I'm going to be discussing with you guys, I really got better. I want to just quickly encourage anyone who's feeling anxious, anyone who's feeling down, or anyone who's in a bit of a tough situation right now, with three simple things. A lot of these things you've definitely heard before, but I've realized that the more we get adult and the more we grow, the harder it is to actually take action and do these very simple things. All right, point number one, and this is the toughest pill to swallow, and this is: you can't change what you don't acknowledge. I still battle with this to this day, but whether it comes to your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, you cannot change them until you acknowledge them. Especially when it comes to anxiety, it's important to be aware of those three things so you can clearly understand what exactly are your triggers and what you can do from a preventative space, because prevention is better than cure, to actually help yourself and not put yourself in a space where you feel uncertain or a bit shaken. I know with myself, I get quite creative with my thoughts and feelings when I procrastinate and I don't acknowledge things as soon as I need to. So one thing starts off as me just feeling, a bit scared about something, and then the moment I don't dive into it right then and there, it ends up becoming a thing where, oh no, your boy's now feeling, demotivated. I then start getting creative, disheartened. My English then starts thriving. And all I really am trying to say is, in those moments where I don't take action, it really just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger in my head. So the one thing that has really helped me being here at home is that although there was a period of me slowing it down, I did really, stop procrastinating and just acknowledge what's happening in my mind. Of course, there will be uncertainty in the world, but that doesn't necessarily dictate what's happening here. Point number two, and that has to do with the boys. If you're making notes, please don't write that. By that I mean lean into your support. One thing I've realized with myself is that I actually perform better in community. When I'm helping my friends out or we are helping one another, I really feel like it's not a thing of I'm trying to become better because I'm desperate. It becomes a thing where I'm trying to become better because I'm empowered. I don't know about you, but I always feel some sense of freedom when I share something with my friends and they're actually going through a similar thing, and they're like, I've been there too, and I want to push through this, and I luckily now have you in my corner and we can push through this together. So that has been really, really helpful for me. I know one thing that's important to bear in mind when you lean into your support is that you have to remember that this is your experience. This is your story. You have to take the time to really educate and enable your friend to understand your situation by really going through it and communicating it with them effectively in a way that they will understand. When I feel crippled by my anxiety, one of the things that I do, and it's a very bad habit, is I sometimes curve and I move away from God. And the one thing that has always empowered me, and the one thing that has always been helpful about, doing a lot of things in community, is that my friends often help me go back to God subconsciously or consciously, in a way that I feel more comfortable. For example, I had my friend the other day, Kopano, I was speaking to her about. Wait, before I get into this, when I said the boys, I wasn't only referring to the gents, Upenyo and TP. I was also referring to, Noma, Canva also is quite helpful, Kopanos. There's a couple of people, my parents, there's a couple of different people. I wasn't just referring to the gents, the boys, the squad. Anyway, I digress. I was actually speaking to my friend Kopano about where I've been and what's been happening in my life, and she sent me this really encouraging message that I really want to share a bit of it with you. And it said, it's important to remember you are where you need to be. Whether it's faith or relationship, what's important is understanding how to propel yourself from here, because you can't change anything that happened, but you are in charge of how you move forward. She then continued to say, and this is the part that knocked me out, and she said, also, you can't let God catch up in a race he created. You, and she was speaking to me in the space that I was in, and she was saying, you are all those things. At the time, feeling very anxious, feeling really insecure, she was saying, you are all those things. You feel all those things, but God isn't. You need to lean in. Point number 3, and this is actually the toughest one of them all. I've actually made a video about it as well, and that's hitting the reset button. Now, I know based off of everything that we know, it's very hard to just, let go of the past and stop thinking about the pain that keeps on chasing us and just, take a standstill in life and try and reset. Honestly and truly, it is something that we all need, something that we all require, because it's really important for us to start afresh. Be it our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with our mind, our relationship with others. It's really important to sometimes just press that reset button, forgive yourself for some of the mistakes, some of the regrets, some of the shame, some of the things that are holding you back. Just forgive yourself for those things and just really start over. Especially when it comes to my anxiety, this is something I practice often, because a lot of the thoughts that surround me when I'm feeling very anxious are things that I wish I could change. And really, I cannot change those things. So it's really been more of a thing of me just learning to give myself a little bit of grace and just say, you know what, I could have done better. I wanted to possibly change things, but the best thing I can do right now is just starting afresh. And boop! I made this my 3rd point because you cannot start off this process without acknowledging where you have been. If you do it without acknowledging, you're going to go into the same cycle and you're just going to repeat habits, and it won't really feel like a fresh start. So truly acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge your thoughts, acknowledge your actions, your past experiences. Sometimes you just need to acknowledge the fact that this thing that you're pinning against yourself wasn't even your fault from the get-go. These are things that you learned through trauma, and it just became your coping mechanism, and now you created a home out of it, and you're realizing that it's not right, and that's perfectly okay. You building a jail cell for yourself and making yourself feel boxed in by a place where you were just trying to survive, for me, does not make sense. So you have to acknowledge the things that you don't want to. You have to have your support there with you so that they can also just remind you of the truth when your mind is telling you otherwise. And number 3, you need to just press that reset button so you can just start over and just try and do things afresh. These have been things that have really been helping me throughout this period, and things that I continue to practice whenever I'm feeling super anxious. These have been a couple of things that have just been helping me out throughout the lockdown period and have been helping me just move forward in a space where it just feels like the whole world is a bit stagnant. To wrap up this video, I want to ask you a really big favor to please comment below in the comment section for an encouraging message for any definer or anyone who's going to be watching this video, whether it's during the lockdown or afterwards, just to be a bit encouraged by maybe your experiences or just something that you've learned from a loved one, a parent, anything like that. Please share it in the comment section below so that we can all encourage one another and move one another, especially for those who maybe don't have a community. We can be your community. Also, I have a quick announcement before wrapping up this video. For the longest time on the TL, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere besides YouTube, I've been saying that I want to start doing a devotion with the people, because whenever I speak about like devotion stuff on the channel, there's been a very big response, and also over social media. So I decided, you know what, let me just put two and two together. To be honest, this has kept me quite crippled, because I just am like, God, am I even the right person? Can I really share these things? I'm feeling anxious. I'm not feeling like the best version of myself. Can I really do this? But I'm actually deciding to take a leap of faith, because I think that's important for my mental health as well. So if you're keen to be a part of that conversation, be a part of the devotion, what I am going to do is I'm gonna start a devotion on my personal channel, Dennis Ngango. I'm just gonna set that up real quickly, and you can find the subscription link, the channel link to that below in the description box, and you'll see it in the end card as well. So make sure to just subscribe to my personal channel. I'm going to be starting very, very, very soon with the devotion, so make sure to click subscribe and look out for that video. This is me taking a leap of faith. I don't even know how that journey is gonna go, but I'm gonna propel forward, and I'm gonna believe in myself. I'm gonna bet on myself. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Dennis Ngango, and thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Ciao. Let's go.